Good morning, Robert Scribbler. It is July 31st, 2018. Thank you for joining me for another climate change and clean energy video blog. Now for this segment, I'm going to talk about a potential change in the weather for the US West Coast and telegraphing on through the eastern United States. But first, what I would like to do is look at some underlying dynamics that may be helping to facilitate this change. And the first underlying dynamic of note is the appearance of a cool pool of water off the US West Coast. Now, this is a sea surface temperature anomaly map, so the temperatures that you see in this map are departures from normal. And as you can see in this blue zone here off the US West Coast, sea surface temperatures have dipped to 1 to 3 degrees, 3.5 degrees Celsius below average. And it appears that this zone has been facilitated by a bit of upwelling due to wind action off the US West Coast. And what has happened as a result is it's blown a hole in this pool of hot water that has been hovering off the US West Coast for some time now and helping to facilitate these strong ridges that have brought in such extreme heat to the US West and such extreme wildfires. So over the next few days, what is expected to happen is that the ridge in the jet stream that we see out west, and you can see it as this bow in the upper level winds in this climate reanalyzer map, is expected to shift east. And I'm just going to go ahead and run the model so you can see it. So the forecast as it moves into Wednesday, we see the upper level high pressure system remaining in place over the US West through Wednesday and on into Thursday. And so we can continue to expect to see heat and severe fire conditions even on through the end of this week. But if you'll notice this strong upper level wind flow starting to dip in here by Friday into the northwest and on into Alaska and starting to bow out into a trough pattern, is when we begin to see temperatures starting to come down and possibly even the potential for rain over Washington and Oregon, maybe even parts of extreme northern California, which would be a real boon to firefighters out there. But with this trough, we start to also see a facing ridge pattern begin to develop in the central and eastern US. And you can see this bowing out up here through Canada and on in through Hudson Bay and eastern Canada in the latter portion of the model. Now this is a 10-day model, and as we can see here in the 10-day forecast, we have an upper level high pressure ridge in the central US. Now drilling down to the surface, this is expected to bring severe heat in through the central US and also reassert much warmer than normal temperatures through the US East. And I'm just going to go ahead and play this model run. So these are surface temperatures according to GFS, and as we see in through Tuesday, we still see severe heat out in the west with 100-degree readings coming up through Central Valley and possibly flaring in through parts of eastern Washington. And through Wednesday, you get a bit of a fade and in the extreme heat, and as well as through Thursday, but still 100-degree readings at the peak heating of the day on in through Friday. And it's not until later on that we start to see a shift to the east in the extreme heat on Saturday. And I just want you to pay attention to the white on the map. White is near 100-degree readings. And so we start to see these extreme temperatures flaring in the central US. And I'm just going to stop this model at one frame here because it gets pretty insane in the Colorado region and on northward here come August 9th. August 8th and August 9th. Here, I'm going to stop this. So on August 8th, we have 100-degree readings stretching all the way from the border with Mexico in the central United States to the border with Canada. And some of the peak readings in Colorado and running on northward into the Dakotas in this model start to hit into the mid to upper 100s and a 111-degree reading and 177-degree reading in eastern Colorado, 106-degree reading in east of the Mississippi River and Missouri River here. So this is really extreme heat for the central U.S. And though this is a good news for the U.S. West, which has experienced such severe and life-threatening and property-threatening wildfires, such severe heat moving into the central U.S. will tend to shift extreme conditions into this region. And that's not good news, especially when you consider the potential for heat injury, because the Gulf of Mexico right now, sea surface temperatures about 1 to 2.5 degrees Celsius above normal. And that's bleeding a lot of moisture in through the eastern U.S. and that's going to really spike heat index values. So this is a potential for dangerous heat and life-threatening heat. Now I'm going to go ahead and just advance this model a little further so you can see that this extreme heat wave, this slice of the U.S. and Mexico and then parts of Canada, they're expected to see 100-degree readings or above, maintains for at least 2 days. And with an upper level high building over here, this could really persist. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and look at some heat index readings. Now, this model here is not as long-running as the 10-day GFS model from Climate Reanalyzer, but I'm going to go ahead and just give you an idea about misery index values and heat index values for the central U.S. over the for the U.S. over the coming 5 days. And go. Let's get into the peak heating of the day. Okay. So this is peak heating of the day values for the central and western U.S. And I'm just going to go ahead and advance this for the next couple of days. And so as we can see, we have rather severe heat index values in through Southern California and the Central Valley region and South Texas. And as the ridge begins to change orientation, you start to see heat indexes peaking up through the central U.S. and starting to run up into Canada and moving on. And we're starting to get rather severe heat index values far to the north in the Dakotas by August 3rd. And by August 4th, severe heat indexes cover much of the eastern U.S., particularly in the southeast. And I don't think I have another frame. So this is something we want to watch. These heat index values here are likely to spike considerably. Now, this is for an August 4th reading, and the most severe heat is expected by August 7th through 10th. And so we really need to keep an eye on these severe heat index readings through the central and eastern U.S. over the coming days. Now, I just want to add that the heat waves that the U.S. is experiencing are not in isolation, that globally we are seeing extreme heat waves, and this is a signal of human-caused climate change. And particularly for this summer, the heat wave signal has been quite severe and is a presage of what we can expect in the future if we continue to burn fossil fuels, and that these extreme heat waves that we are experiencing now are just an early outlier, are just a mild version of what we'll experience if we don't get very serious about rapidly reducing carbon emissions. Now, thank you for joining me, and I'll be chatting with you soon.